Welcome back into the Two Balls on the Mic studio, brought to you in part by San Diego Football. That's San Diego.football. Yeah, that's right. That's our website. Literally, I don't know how we got that, but we'll go ahead and get to it right now with El Capitan, El Capi, número 6, number 6 for your San Diego Loyal. 30 assists, Team 1 member, part of the Team 1 series that we've been doing. We've had Stoney, we've had Colin, Capitan de Capitanes, Mr. Charlie Adams. Charlie, how are you doing?
Very well, guys. Thanks for having me.
No, I really appreciate your
we
time.
appreciate your time for sure.
And we'll get right to it. I mean, obviously, we kind of wanted to do this retrospective because you've been in service for with your career, with your time, with your body to the city of San Diego. So we want to make sure that we show you that we appreciate that, and the people want to go ahead and hear from their captain, right? And I mean, just to get it started, like San Diego Loyal 4 years ago, a lot of things has happened. Sometimes the pandemic seemed eternal, and it was never ending, it seemed. But we're back here now. When San Diego Loyal started, what was Charlie Adams? Who was Charlie Adams? What was your being at that set point in time?
Yeah. No, I think it was someone that sort of never found their place within a football club for a few years. I think it was someone that was just hungry to do well, hungry to showcase my ability, and thankfully San Diego Loyal was the place that was where I was able to do that. So look, I'm so thankful for this club, and I've changed so much, but I've grown so much, I think. So I'm happy to have lived that process and to continue that process, and hopefully wherever I go next, the result of these 4 years can that team, or whatever place I'm in, can see that.
And man, you played all across that midfield, man. You've played several games through your career, right at the center mid, defensive mid, attacking mid, even sometimes on the winger.
I've seen Koke ahead of Charlie at times, bro.
At
Like,
times.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thinks he's a number 10 though.
If it was up to him.
But I think a lot of people just want to know what is your preferred position? Is it just a solid center mid? Is it more defensive? Is it more attacking?
I would say, yeah. I mean, it's great that you guys have sort of acknowledged that, and my role has changed throughout the years, but now I'm sort of in a place where I feel like I'm combining each of those roles together. So there's not sometimes, yeah, there's certain small tactical details that we go into before games, and we say, right, we want you here for build up, we want you there for defending counterattacks or whatever. But in general, I think what you're seeing from me now, and hopefully what I can produce in the last few games, is sort of the final product of who I am as a San Diego player, in that I'm totally versatile. I try and read the game, see, what's needed for my teammates, whether it's I push up higher, whether it's I'm slightly deeper, whether, there's spaces for me wide to cross. I think it's just sort of a culmination of the 4 years, and I think what you're seeing from me is exactly what you said, is a mixture of all of those, depending on the opponent and depending on what I'm seeing. So, yeah.
And through that evolution of Charlie Adams, right? Like, you come from a very specific style of playing, growing up within the academy of Liverpool, and all that had to kind of
Brentford. That was Jack Metcalf.
Oh, come on, Tony.
After 4 years, Charlie,
I wish
you
it was.
would think,
I wish it was Liverpool. That
you
would
would
be
think,
great.
is that? I mean, look, even then, I'd say the European style is just so different. I'm gonna have to call Jack up after this, man. Like, jeez. But after this, now Americanized style, and you bringing your style into the USL, and you've been here growing your game. What is the change that you've seen with the way that Nate plays? Nate plays a very specific way, and is he thinks the reason why you're able to be so versatile and have that freedom?
Yeah, I mean, No, first of all, it's important to note that I think you're totally right in that it's very different to the UK. Um, Regardless if you're at Liverpool's academy or Brentford or somewhere else, sort of the ethos and the feeling, especially 10, 15 years ago, is very different to here. Um, and I always like to keep some of those qualities in me. You know, the aggressiveness. You know, in England, it's very aggressive. You have to be good on second balls. You have to make sure that you're willing to fight. You do the nasty things. You know, this is English football. So I made sure that I stick true to that, because those qualities are important in any part of the world when you play. But in this particular team, yeah, I think this is one of the reasons why I originally left England, was because the style was really difficult for me. And although I have the qualities to be good within an English system, I felt like going abroad was the best thing for me. And I think what you're seeing at San Diego is really showcasing my real attributes, my really good attributes, in that, you know, we build up. We like to play through the thirds. We like to possess the ball, play vertically when it's on. Um, yeah, all of these things. And I think those tactics and those principles that we have of how we play as a team really help me.
No, and I mean, talk about a left foot, right? I think your style has just molded so well to what Nate and Landon wanted for this team, with the wide crosses to the second post, to the corner kicks, to the penalties, always being on point. You just got your 30th assist in this last game. Like, has that always been your strongest thing? Your left foot is something that you've
whip.
Yeah, is that something that
Well,
you're always
funny,
proud
yeah.
of?
In my local area when I was growing up, I was just known as that small kid that could just launch the football with my left foot. So it's funny that it's sort of a characteristic that I've kept throughout my whole career. But no, yeah, it's a great attribute of mine. It's my best attribute. So you're totally right.
I'm about to see Charlie Adams in the NFL as a kicker, man.
I think I could.
Yeah, absolutely.
Charlie. I mean, the life those kickers live.
Yeah.
I think the
we're
Cowboys
very
kicker right
congruent.
now is used to play
I know
soccer.
there's a lot of pressure though. So like they can't miss. And I know in trainings and training camps, you can't miss. Like
But you're good under pressure.
there's no room for error, I feel like. Unless you're one of the top boys, then maybe you can make a mistake. But yeah, if I was to get into it, I wouldn't be able to miss. So
It's like a penalty.
I don't often anyway. So
Yeah, Harry Kane thinks he can.
Harry Kane.
Like I've seen Harry Kane do some amazing stuff, but I've also seen Harry Kane do some not some amazing stuff.
yeah.
I've seen you play in real life, Charlie. I think you have what it takes. But ultimately, again, you've been the recipient of compliments through Vass, through Conway, through Barry, through just anybody who is around you, of the placement of that ball. I mean, you said that you were always that kid, but like, what changed? What technique did you have to hone, or how did you practice? And we hear these players who go play, you know, in their backyard and kick the wall 1,000 times with their left foot to, you know, get some mastery. What was that like growing up for you?
Yeah, it's really strange, you know, because my dad had a left foot, right? And as I said, it was always my strength. Um, and yeah, as just as a young kid, I just remember it was with my brother really at the park, just hours, hours of just striking the ball, touch out your feet, bang, touch out your feet, bang, different techniques. And where that was my strength as a kid anyway, it's almost like I'd concentrated so much on that that as we got to the professional level, I sort of gained distance from the rest in that in that front on this particular technique and yeah, I really don't know. I just remember practicing a lot and just always being able to naturally pick things up so well with my left foot. You like when players started to do knuckleballs,
Mm-hmm.
since Ronaldo started to do it, and it would take me a couple weeks, and then bang, I'd be able to do it.
Yeah.
Not see you haven't seen it much because I don't really have the bottle to do it in a game on a free kick. Because, but yeah, nah.
I mean, there's still
Just
time, Charlie.
There's still
come
a few
easy
games left.
when they with my left foot, and it's always been like that. It's the same thing as like me and my brother. We always speak about it. If me and him practice the same amount with something like at football, especially with our dominant foot, if we put the same amount of hours in, I'd probably still come out better, which is strange. But I think that's honestly what it is. But just countless hours of practice, honestly, countless.
And so what has that been now in the professional level, right? Like we're talking, you know, you and your siblings going back and forth, and that's really like a unifying thread for a lot of players, right? It's either a sibling or that best friend across the street, you know, who just played in between the car wheels and all that good stuff. But as a professional, what are the things and qualities that you've had to work on now in order to make it to this next level? And ultimately, I mean, it can be, you know, talent, as you were saying, with the ball or off the ball. You're the captain of San Diego Loyal, Charlie. Did that come natural to you? Did you have to work on that? How was that process for you?
For me, yeah, you're talking about what characteristics do you need and what you need to concentrate on. For me, it's resilience. Um, I heard a quote from Arsene Wenger, and it just sticks with me so much because there's been hard times for everyone, hard times for me here. Um, but it's not the intensity of the motivation; it's the stamina of the motivation, and it's being able to through the tough times just stick with it. And those ones that are able to do that and to stay motivated. Now, we're not saying that you have to be so intense with your motivation where, you know, you see it a lot. You see like, like tomorrow I'm going to go out and I'm going to practice as hard as I can. I'm going to do extras on the training field. But how about you just do a little bit extra every single day instead of just doing it for a couple of weeks? And I think that's the biggest thing is the resilience. I would say that's the best characteristic a player can have is resilience. And then sort of developing into a captain. No, I just think with a little bit of age, and I've been here for a while, I always demanded a lot from my teammates. I always tried to lead by example and be consistent in my performances. That's actually the thing I'm most proud of about these past 4 years is that I feel like I've been consistent, which is the hardest thing to do. And I'm really proud of that. But I just think where the club grew and I grew as a person, it's sort of a perfect fit. The philosophy and the culture sort of matched mine of how we wanted to do things, and I think it was just a really good fit. You know, being vocal as well is something that helps me. But there's a ton of leaders in that dressing room that lead with their actions. You take Toomey, for example. He's not the most vocal, but he tries every single day, and he even when he gets dropped from the team, there's no complaining, there's no moaning, there's no I should be in ahead of him or this or that. So I take that, I take motivation from that, and that things like that inspire me, and that's an incredible leadership quality in itself to be humble enough to accept, right, I'm dropped, but I'm going to continue being a good teammate and carry on. So there's a ton of leaders in that dressing room. It's just that I'm the one that wears the armband.
Yeah, and as a leader, obviously, part of your job is to motivate other players and teach the younger players, right? So, how happy were you? And we talked to Stoneman about it when Xavi comes in and scores a brace, his first 2 goals for the team on a comeback win. Everyone was ecstatic, but as a captain, as the leader, as someone, another player in the same similar position as you, how happy were you for him?
No, you said it there, ecstatic. I mean, here's the crazy thing about this sport as well is that hopefully Nate would have made the change anyway. But if I hadn't have had a tight hamstring on that corner, maybe I wouldn't have come off. I said I want to come off. So that's how the football works. That's how the football gods work in that he's worked tremendously hard. We've seen him. We see how much it means to him. We see him work so hard through these past 4 years, 3 years, whatever it's been. And again, that moment there was, you know, the culmination of his almost 4 years' work.
Yeah.
And the lads were so happy for him. And you saw in his face how much it meant to him. But then you look at the teammates and you see how much it means to us. And it truly did. And I'm so excited to see where his career will take him, because I think he has a bright future and he has an incredible mentality. I can't speak highly enough of him.
And that was just a moment, a glimpse, right, of true passion. For me, just being a witness of this team and everything that's happened, obviously, it's probably a culminating moment for the team just in general. In the history in these 4 years, that was something special that just transcended. And
For
what you
sure.
just saw there, I mean, you lived it, Charlie, but that was goal one. Goal two, a brace, a game winner,
Yeah.
A comeback
absolutely
win.
bonkers.
Yeah.
Like it's you can't write a better story. And again, it's almost poetic how you say, like, you know what, had this not happened, this wouldn't have happened, right?
Yeah.
We would have been speaking
Sure.
in a different position on the table, like having a chance to play at home, and it's all those you can't it's all those qualities that you can't just feel, right? In baseball, it's the unintangible things where it's what makes this team special. That's
Mm.
why you're fighting for a home game, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the motivation right there.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And it's exactly just to point out what I was saying earlier, is it's the stamina of the motivation. And especially with someone like him, there was other players, young players that was here, that were maybe ahead of him at one point. There was guys gone to college, gone to MLS, left to go elsewhere, and he just kept plugging away, just kept on going every day. And I know how it is being a young player. I was there when, you know, other guys, they're getting chances ahead of you. They're, you know, you're seeing another lad sign a professional contract, deservedly so, by the way, deservedly so. Other lads sign professional deals,
Mhm.
but you see that, and then it's it's tough. It's tough as a young player, but he kept staying motivated. He kept showing up, and I'm so happy that he was able to live that moment, because it's really special. And scoring, I can't tell you how good scoring is. And then for him to score two, yeah, so happy for him.
And I'm sure it must be difficult for everyone in the team, right? Knowing that it's the last season for this team. The news were given to everyone, but like for yourself in particular, you're thinking of your future, but how do you also kind of talk to Xavi about those things, right? He's young, he has a bright future, but he just signed a contract with the team as well, and then the news happened. So, as the captain, how do those conversations go with Xavi?
Two for
Yeah.
one.
Thing is with him is that I know him so well, and I know his passion for this sport. I know this is really what he wanted to do from the very start. He said, "Charlie, I don't want to go to college. I want to pursue this." So he has the right mentality. There's not much more. There's not much I can say to him. He has a really good head on his shoulders. I make sure to just keep him humble a little bit. Give him some smack from time to time. Take the Mickey out of him. Make sure I do that. Make sure that he stays on his feet. But he has a great mentality, and like, he has a bright future. He's a young lad. He's just won the game for us. Really talented, fabulous young player. So yeah, I'm just excited to see where he goes. I just, that's all. He already got a great motivation and a great mentality. So there's not much more I can give him.
And that's just one relationship that you have to maintain throughout this. And you've played next to great talents as well. You've played against excuse me, with a lot of different players who, still remain. And just who are those players and who are those people that you really connected on the pitch and off the pitch, right? Like, who are those mates that that you are going to go to the pub with, right? Like, thinking
Yeah.
about, you guys went through a World Cup with some teammates. You had a couple of comrades back at a bar, unfortunately, watching. I think you guys lost a bet, right? You lost the hair bet, and you've refused
Yeah,
to,
I
to do
lost
it
the
for a
hair
while,
bet.
Charles. I remember
Yeah.
that.
England boys. Yeah. Um, yeah, I did lose that bet when we watched the Euros.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to the bar in Little Italy, and it was only me, Jack Metcalf, and Jack Blake
Mm-hmm.
wearing our England gear. rest of it was Italians.
Oh,
Or I thought we was gonna thought I was gonna receive a right hander from someone. The way I was celebrating when I think Luke Shaw scored. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
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 silent. Us three were cheering in there. Seriously, it was could have got hostile.
You love.
Oh,
I
man.
mean, you love to hear that from the Americans. They're being able to
I'm-
feel something. So great.
I'm sorry he didn't come home.
That's okay.
Yeah.
They've got time. They've got Jude Bellingham, and Charlie Adams. But again, who were those? Who are those mates? Who are those people you spoke to? A couple
Yeah.
of the Brits there, but on the field, who did you have that chemistry with? Who did you really
Yeah,
enjoy
really.
playing?
One person that I think I've had a great chemistry with is Colin Martin. Him is a little bit of a standout for me just because yeah, I think we've worked so well together um, in that middle, and we've been here for 4 years together, and I think we kind of know each other of how we play. But then on top of that, our relationship off the field is grown so much, and he's such a good friend of mine now. We joke every single day. We speak every single day. I sit next to him in the meeting room. He's someone that, yeah, I really hope, and I think, and I'm sure we will continue speaking after we go our separate ways this year. But him in particular, but then also because I play next to him, and um, I think that's a contributing factor as to why we've built a good friendship. But honestly, the rest of the lads as well, Guido's, Stoney, Elijah, all the day one guys, really, really, I have a really soft spot for, just because we've been through so much together. As you said, from the COVID to the team, coming to an end. It's brilliant. But some really, really great friends I've made here.
Yeah, and I mean, we want to go down a trip down memory lane, but looking back, what does it feel like knowing that you scored the first goal for this team in the USL?
Yeah, really proud, I think. Really happy with it as well. It was a pretty good finish. I'd be happy to do that again this year. But no, really proud. As I said, I've said this a few times about this goal. I didn't sort of take the time in the moment to appreciate it. Didn't realize what I did.
Mhm.
To be honest, I know I scored and I had a good touch and I put it away. But I didn't really realize what it meant that much in that moment. You're 1-0 down. It's the opening game. Landon's your coach. We've had a good preseason. We're putting a lot of pressure on ourselves, and our expectations are quite high, just naturally because of how the city has received us from the start. So I didn't really realize what I did. I just felt like I got my team back in the game, and we had to go on and win it. And that's all I was thinking. So I kind of regret not appreciating that moment more in the time. Savoring it, maybe running to the fans a little bit. But no, look, very proud.
And again, like in retrospect, like right then everything just happened. What happened? Nothing. Nothing started to happen, and you find yourself in a weird circumstance where you go through Olympus training of Zoom workouts, and it's in everything's just in a weird new place. And um, uh, how did that shape your career? Like that had to have been just like anything, right? It was a jolt of
Oh, it was. I look back on that time and I can't believe that we lived that.
yeah.
I bet you guys think that too. I can't believe that was a thing. Um, it almost feels like a time warp. That whole sort of 3 months, 2 months was just, I don't know, like it felt it. I don't know what to think about it, but um, no, it gave me time to, I guess, work on some things coming back into training with regards to my fitness levels and making sure that I keep myself fit. Gave me some time alone to, pick up on some reading and watch box sets and things that you wouldn't sort of get the time to do usually. Yeah, I didn't mind that time at all. but I was obviously happy once we started up again. But it was so strange playing in the empty stadiums, and then coming into the year after 2021 was also just very a strange time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, and I mean, we obviously know this team means a lot to a lot of people, but what do you hope that the Charlie Adams legacy is when people look back at San Diego Loyal?
I just love people to look back and think, you know what, that we were proud for that guy to wear the shirt. Um, Whether or not I played well or not is, of course, I want to play well, but I think, yeah, I hope the fans can look back and say, you know what, that guy represented us well. That guy represented us the way that we want to be represented, on and off the pitch, truly. Um, and I think that's the most important thing. And I continue to give everything I can for this club, for the jersey, for the fans, and I'll do it until the very last day. So truly, yeah, I would say that.
And then, it's a give and take with the city, right? Seems like every Team One player we've talked to just fell in love with the city. I mean, we've
Of
spoken
course, yeah.
to Stoney and Colin, and again, they still have that just love and appreciation for truly what San Diego is. Because look, sometimes we don't know what San Diego is, and we're San Diegan. I can't tell you. Are we SeaWorld and the zoo? But who knows, right? But what is something that the city has taught you, or something that you're gonna come away with, that San Diego just imprinted on you and just embedded into who Charlie Adams is?
Yeah, I would say it's just for me. Uh, and I think this is linked to the city, of course, but it's how the fans have sort of received me, and how they are obviously a representation of San Diego, and then how they have made me feel. And it's sometimes it's people in the community that come up to me, acknowledge me, and we'll have a chat for 5-10 minutes, and it's sort of humbling. Um, and in San Diego, when you play for one of their sports teams, I really do feel like you're representing them, and they have your back. Like, they really have your back. Um, so you just have to make sure that you go out there and give it your all, because they did although loyal is our name, I feel like the fans are so loyal. Um, and so the sports teams are ones that have to represent that. And yeah, I would say that just fully loyal and really really kind.
I mean, and that's something that we can genuinely see in people in the character, and yeah, you were a hard worker, and still are, and again, that's something that has always been, unquestioned, your effort on the field, and it's really just an honor to be able to see you develop as the captain of this team and just have so many versions of it, so many styles, so many you know eras in a sense too, and being able to adapt to that is really interesting. And I mean, you know, with this news, earlier you said it right. You want to keep, playing. You want to keep doing this. This is in your mind.
Yeah.
Any thought of just what the next step is? Obviously, focusing on this, end of the year. But I mean, it's one of the things what we've heard when telling people is like they want to keep in touch with all the Team One players, and not just Team One players, just all loyal players, but specifically, um, like somebody like yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's so difficult to navigate this time because it's very unique. First and foremost, yeah, I want to make sure that I stay in touch with as many people within this organization as possible, and I really hope that I cross paths with as many as I can, because one thing I'll say about this club is that um, I feel like they put the person first before the player, or before the coach, or before the whatever role you have in the back room. Um, so I would love to, yeah, not only continue, staying in contact with people that have been linked to that have been linked to this club or have worked for this club, but potentially work with them again. Who knows? But as for me, um, it's going to sound really cliche, and I'm sure you've probably heard it before from the other guys. I really don't know what's next for me. I'm totally focused on the job in hand, and I feel like it's, I'd be almost ruining a bond I have with such a great fan base, club, and city by, you know, my head to be anywhere else but here. So that's one thing I've vowed to myself to make sure that I'm going to be totally focused, and we'll deal with where and who and what next year looks like when it comes. So I'm just so excited to finish the season well and continue on building some momentum into the playoffs.
Love that.
And then just to wrap this up, we're asking everyone just pretty much in 3 words if you can just describe your time here at San Diego Loyal.
I would say best time ever.
I love that. Actually.
That is wonderful.
great.
That's a lot of people are going to be just, as you guys say, chuffed.
Yeah, this is the best 4 years of my life, hands down.
That's amazing, and thank you for sharing that. It's really been a great experience to not just know you guys as professional athletes, but as a people who you truly are, and just knowing the individual that you are on and off camera, just always kind and just been a great person, upstanding person to us. So I want to thank you for that. And again, job's not done. There's still soccer, football, whatever you want to call it, to be played. I'm pretty sure everybody's excited in the locker room to do as best as they can for this city. Charlie, I want to thank you for your time. Any last words, and we'll wrap this up.
No. I also want to thank you guys, because you guys have always been honest with us and given us a safe space for this club and for the players to express themselves to the general public, to the fans. And I've also seen you guys grow as well, and I'm so happy to have lived this moment with you, and I'll be so excited to see where you guys continue your journey, because you guys do a terrific job, and there is of course a lot more soccer to be played in this city, and I'm sure you'll be doing a great job with that. So thanks to you guys as well.
I really appreciate those
man.
words. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next time.